Hey team, yeah, you read that right. I am deleting most of my social media accounts. Let's turn this on. Should we set the mood a little bit? I feel like I've been all over the place recently. There we go. So, let me be super honest with you guys, just while I check some of this stuff. Yep, we are working. Cool. A few weeks ago, I came back from a speaking event, and I'll be super brutal with you and honest. I was a little deflated, perhaps a little bit disillusioned. Nothing to do with the event, I might add, and those who know me and know what I've been doing will probably know which event I'm talking about. I don't want to call it out because I don't want any mixed messages, but it had nothing at all to do with the event. Nothing at all. But it's part of the problem. And by the way, if you're watching this, say hello. I am literally live. How can I show that? Oh no. There you go. 20th of October, 15:37. I am live. So throw comments in the chat and I will absolutely say hello and respond to them. And if you're watching the replay for this, by all means, go ahead and put a comment down below and I'll catch up with you there as well. I came back from the event, and when you spend time, I don't believe you're live. I'm 100% live. There we go. I am absolutely live now. There we go. Thank you, Matt. So part of the problem was when you spend time away from the business, you kind of get the chance to mull things over. And then a lot of the topics that were coming up in this particular talk were very conflicting to me. Recently, we've been really struggling with sales and leads, not necessarily convincing people to buy, but I just felt it was a bit clunkier than it needed to be. We've had hit and miss with the sales teams, so what ended up happening is I fell into a bit of a trap, that classic trap of the fear of missing out. And what I started doing was comparing myself to others and comparing everything that I had with one thing that they had. And what I also did is I fell into that trap of thinking, well, if I start something new, that will be easier for me to scale and accelerate and get the results that I'm actually looking for. And maybe you recognize that a little bit. Maybe you want to comment if you recognize that fear of missing out, people saying, hey, there's loads of opportunity over on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook groups and Facebook personal profiles and YouTube and Snapchat and email and blogs and videos and podcasts. And I was like, fuck. And so I fell into that trap of thinking, great, we're going to repurpose everything. We're going to spread our message far and wide. But very quickly I was like, this is too much, way too much. What I basically felt is that we had a problem in the business, and in order to try and fix it, I thought I would try something new, which is a bit like being, hey Glenn, how you doing, mate? Yes, going through that too. Well, let's talk about it, man. Let's share this. It's basically like being almost at the top of the mountain. You've climbed 90% of the mountain, and that last 10% gets steeper. And that's what happens. The last 10% of the mountain is steeper than the first 90%. But I thought, no, that's too difficult to get to that top part. So why don't I start another mountain over there? Why don't I start another project over there? Why don't I start climbing another mountain over there? And that feels like progress, which is moronic. It's the equivalent of running a race, running a marathon, getting to 25 miles, and a marathon, for those who don't know, is 26.2 miles. It's the equivalent of getting to 25 miles in and going, oh, I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm going to stop here and start another race tomorrow. It's like, you're so close. And yes, that hardest mile is the hardest part. I remember seeing Olivia's done a couple of marathons. She does tons of half marathons. In London, when she did the London Marathon, she was literally crying. She was, in pain. And I was like, it was tough to watch. And I remember thinking, well, I know that I'm going to walk a couple of miles that way and get to the end. But she's got to run it. And it was the hardest part. And she said the last 5 miles was the hardest. But you don't say, well, quit here, stop and start another race. You don't do that, do you? You say, keep going. And if there's one piece of advice that has served me well, it's this. In fact, I want to see if I can very carefully show this. A friend of mine who runs a multi-million dollar business. He said, life is easy when you keep it simple. It's keeping it simple that's hard. And that's, I think I've got that from the Courage to Be Disliked. That's there. Life is easy when it's simple. Can I paste that in? No. Life is easy when it's simple. It's keeping it simple that's hard. Here we go. There. And this quote has served me well. And the reason that I was, frankly, a little bit depressed and demotivated when coming home, I should have been on a high. Right? I should have been feeling over the moon that I've been paid to talk in this amazing location with these amazing people. But the reality is that instead of listening to this advice here, I started a bunch of new social channels, and I wanted to ramp up the social channels that we were using. And I started using the other platforms that I had neglected a bit more, plus keep the social channels going that I was already using, and my email list, and my actual coaching group, of which, Glenn is a member from Renegade. And basically what I wanted was quick fixes. I was reacting and panicking to a problem in the business, and I thought the easiest and fastest solution. By the way, if you're joining this live, say hello in the comments. This is live, literally. I know I've cheated the last few days. There we go, 20th of October, 15:43. Although maybe I've just maybe I've set the clock forward on my phone. No, I haven't. And basically, I wanted instant, faster results because I was copying and coveting what other people had. Brynard, really good to see you in here, man. How you doing? God damn, he's got a good smile, hasn't he? Excellent. Good to see you in here, mate. And so, what I'm going to be doing is deleting my Facebook group along with a bunch of other social media platforms. And why is that? Well, a couple of reasons. Like I said, life is easy when it's simple. It's keeping it simple that's hard. I was following other people's methodologies, and they were like, you got to have this, you got to have that, you got to have this. And rather than applying that to what I already had, which is this YouTube channel, I was trying to grow something new. I'm deleting Instagram, which I think we've already done. I would show you, but I'm worried. If I log in, it says it won't delete it, so I now can't log in, which is great. I don't want to, right? I'm getting rid of our TikTok account. I might get rid of my Twitter account. I'm getting rid of our Facebook account. I'm getting rid of Snapchat and our Pinterest account, most of which have been dying and dead. But the Facebook group one is the one that's the scariest because it's got about 3,000 members in it. But, and what was really interesting is I came back and I was like, why am I stressed and anxious and worried? Why are things not communicating or connecting properly? And it's because I was doing all this stuff, and ultimately I was feeling, well, I'm not really making a huge impact here. But the two things that I couldn't wait to get back to were working with my team, who I adore. I absolutely love working with my team, and working with my coaching customers. I love working with them. Now, I've had to step away from that a little bit to deal with something, but I'm doubling down on that, and I just want to get those two groups killer results. And so, because I do like YouTube, I like creating YouTube videos, I like filming them and making them. I love the idea that if someone can't afford to be a part of our bigger mastermind and bigger program, they can still get help on YouTube. I like growing an audience on YouTube. I think there's huge monetization and revenue potential on YouTube still. And I love my coaching group. I like taking a small handful of people and seeing them get results week after week after week. Now, you might be thinking that you're in my Facebook group, so what happens? Well, in that case, you'll know how low quality it is. So let's jump in here. I show this? Add to stream. Here we go. So 3.2 thousand members. Me posting. Jar, which is me. Me. Jar. Me. There's no engagement. There's no people having groups outside of me. It's basically a posting board for me. It's a messaging board for me. And I'm sure you've all seen that essentially I've just been using it as a lead generation platform. And it's been working fine, but I've actually got more people on YouTube, so why wouldn't I do that there? I've got more people in my email list, so why wouldn't I do that there? And there's also a ton of spam. What's this? I don't know what this is. There's a ton of spam that gets posted into the group. Probably 2 or 3 posts a day that we have to go in and delete really quickly. It's my fault. Sell your service maybe implies that it's a group for people to be able to sell their services. But it takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of time. We won't miss the daily posts of the first 10 people to learn. I'll show you how to make 10k a month. 100%, Matt. And we got this regularly. And I was like, no, I'm the one who should be spamming the group. But the truth is, I was just trying to follow what I thought was right. And I didn't want it to be me just selling to the group. I never wanted that. It's useful to have it as a lead generation platform, but the truth is I wanted it to be like other platforms that are out there. And the reality is I couldn't give it all the attention that I wanted. And although people say, oh, why don't you just do content repurposing? It just doesn't work like that. Maybe other people have made content repurposing work for them. I know that Amy Woods from Content 10X does it, but we just couldn't do it. We could never get it down. We found that each platform needed its own methodology, its own research, its own posting platform. It needed its own editing style. The video editing style of TikTok is very different from YouTube, and is very different from YouTube Shorts. It's different from Twitter and Facebook Lives and webinars. And I was like, geez, it's way too much. And the reality is every social media app is basically the same now. I don't care what people say about, well, kids are over on this one and adults are over on this one and businesses on this one. They're all the same. You can post text on all of them. You can comment on all of them. You can share on all of them. You can do video on all of them. You can do live streaming on all of them. You can share images on all of them. You can do polls on all of them. So I was like, this is too much. I'm going to focus just on YouTube because I really like YouTube. With that, however, I want to show some groups that are absolutely crushing it. Yeah, Adrian, you could repurpose. And this is the funny thing. That's what everyone says. Everyone tells me we could repurpose, and yet no one has successfully done it for me. Okay? And I'm sure that repurposing might work for some people. I'm happy for someone to admit to me or tell me to my face and give me a harsh truth, Mike, your content just isn't suitable for repurposing. For whatever reason, I'm fine with that. No one's ever said that because they want to make a sale, right? So no one's ever going to say to me, your content just isn't suitable for repurposing. The second aspect is anytime we have repurposed, it hasn't been as easy as everyone says it is, because we spend as much time or more time in the planning and research phase than we do in the posting phase. Taking the video, editing it and posting it is easy, but that's not where the majority of the work lies. The work lies in researching and planning what is our next video and what should our strategy be for this particular post. So I want to share a few, and by the way, guys, send in questions. I'm happy to talk about this. Please send in questions and we'll talk about it. So a few groups that are crushing it. Josh, digital marketing agency success. This guy's crushing it. I haven't managed to actually connect with Josh personally, but I really like his stuff. He seems like a nice guy. The people in his program seem really lovely. And you can see here that Josh Nelson's his name. So yeah, this is a great group for people. Take your digital agency to the next level. I really like Josh. Marketing Agency Automation Secrets by Christine. Christine and I have had a couple of conversations. She's predominantly high level, but she's awesome. I really like Christine's work. She's also on YouTube. So again, if you're looking for another social media group or Facebook group to be a part of. And what's funny is these are a lot of my friends and connections in here as well, which is great. My personal favorite, Digital Agency Owners Community, which is hosted by GoWP. They do a couple of calls, and while they might have a smaller group, the connectivity between everyone on these calls. I met Emily and Mariah like face to face for the first time. Oh, and there's Bet, that's lovely. And Rich at Carbo Press. It was just amazing. This is a really solid group of people, so I would 100% recommend checking them out. High Level, if you're using the High Level platform at 23,000 members, really, really good group of people. It's very technical. There's less agency running stuff, but if you want to learn how to run a SaaS-based agency, this is the place to do it. The High Level official community. Of course, the admin bar as well with Kyle. This is like what I would have as, it even says there, the #1 WordPress community. I would agree. This is, now, when I first met Kyle, I think it was on a podcast, and he was about the beginning stages of starting this up. He had no idea that he was creating something this special. This is an amazing community that you could just spend all day in. And finally, the Score app. Now, Dan Priestley, who's become kind of a friend of mine, who I admire, he wrote Key Person of Influence and The Entrepreneur's Revolution and Oversubscribed. They have this app called Score app, which we use. But this in itself is a really good community, especially if you're using their platform. I'd highly recommend checking this out. So yeah, those are some platforms that I reckon you should check out. If you want a community, something on Circle is so much better. With a small barrier to entry, equivalent to a copy per month, with limited, Facebook is a horrible mess. So Circle is what we use for our paid members, Matt. We absolutely love Circle for our paid members. This is where we put all of our coaching calls. This is where our paying members in. So Glenn is a member of this. This is where we have our paid private community area. I've got no interest in running another community group, so the paid one is fine. The rest of it is probably going to be on Facebook, on YouTube. Sorry, probably on YouTube. In 5-figure funnels, do you think it goes into enough details for someone with no email marketing experience to build a profitable agency? SOS for taking away from the moment. I don't know what SOS for taking away from the moment means, but the short answer is yeah, 5-figure funnels, even if you have zero experience, you would be able to start selling marketing funnel services for over 5 figures by reading that book. The problem with a standing desk is your shelves are that much higher. So this is my book. This is the third one, I don't know. This will absolutely show you how to sell marketing funnels for 5 figures, regardless of your experience. Experience has got nothing to do with it. I'm one of the worst funnel builders on the planet, and yet we managed to do it. Being honest with you, mate, when the content always ends with comment word to learn more, it feels like the quality of the content goes down instead of value. It comes across as a bit more grimy. Interesting, Matt, because those posts have probably made us $300,000 to $400,000 this year. So when you say the quality of the content goes down, I think you're basing that on a feeling rather than data, because I have tons of data to support that actually posts like that could probably make us $1 million plus a year. It's got nothing to do with the quality of the content. We still have plenty of engaged people, and I would argue if you have, some of those posts, some do really, really well and get hundreds of comments, and some get a few comments. So even from an engagement standpoint, we have data supporting that actually they get more engagement. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't work. Remember, we're always saying that opinion has no place within marketing. You should only be going on your data and what you're seeing, instead of making instead of making policy based on data, we should make data based on policy, which is to say, If something goes out and it works, then it works. And unfortunately, regardless of your feelings about it, it works. So I'm going to completely 100% disagree with you on that one. However, some posts don't work, you know, and that's kind of the point of testing it. If I was to create content that was clickbaity or provocative or controversial for the sake of it, you might say the exact same thing based around just the title, but if it gets views and moves the business in the way that you want, that's what's more important. Our first and core tenet at Sell Your Service is have the courage to be disliked. I personally was like, I don't know how I feel about these types of posts, and yet they worked. Which is to say, we're probably not going to be getting rid of the personal Michael Killen profile on Facebook just yet, because that is such a great lead generator for us. And that never seems to affect whether it does or doesn't. So yeah, there's an interesting kind of dynamic there, but yeah, unfortunately, completely disagree with you there on that one. No offense intended, just sharing an observation. And great, and if that observation is worth $400,000, I'll probably listen to it, but right now it's not. Noah, sending hugs from Seattle, Mike. Just saw your post, decided to come over YouTube and see and here you are. I know, I'm everywhere. That's the irony, Noah. I've said I'm leaving and I've decided to double down on other stuff. So yeah, and you know, I think I've sent an email and a post. Now part of that sounds very like, oh, it's a good way to get some traffic for Mike by posting something controversial. In truth, I genuinely do want to warn people, like, the group is going away, and if you want to get in contact with me, you can either shoot me an email, join the blog, or jump over to YouTube, because that's where we're going to be hanging out most of the time. So yeah, I'm on the last chapter of 5-Figure Funnels. You didn't mention how to build a team to fulfill work for you customers. Do you start off with freelancers? So I wouldn't worry about this yet. If you've made a sale, then you want to start worrying about that. But I would first go out there and make a sale. I would start closing customers. Finding people to deliver the work for you will not be a problem. There are contractors, VAs, freelancers, there's friends, there's partners, there's software. You've got a lot of areas that you can find on. Personally, what I tended to do was I would get a VA to do a lot of the work. Remember, in 5-Figure Funnels, inside the assets part, is it? Or authority? Basically where you're building out the roadmap that the customer goes through. I think it's around page 70. What milestones do people need? What steps do people need for each milestone? So around page 70. Those milestones are what you're going to be hiring against. So that becomes the job listing for you to hire for someone. So if you list those out and you know the customer is going to go through those and you know that you're going to go through those, that's how you're going to want to... that's what you're going to hire against. But my advice would be sell it first. Sell it first, and then try to find someone who can help you execute it. Cool. Or talk to another business owner and say, hey, I'm willing to sell your services. What are you currently charging for it? And I'll promise you they'll say something like $3 to $5 grand. You say, well, I want to charge more than that. So if I find you customers and pass them over to you, are you happy for me to just give you $5 grand and for you to do the work? And as long as you get a specified list of what they're going to deliver, and so the key to that is making sure that your proposals are all the same. The day of writing custom proposals is gone. It's dead. Stop writing custom proposals. What you want to start doing is write one proposal and find 100 customers who are interested in that. Cars, houses, kitchens, computers, authors, sunglasses, audio equipment, phones, clothes, cameras, hunting and travel equipment and gear, tripods, 360-degree cameras. The list of standardized products is extensive. That is how you make money. If you say to people, I will help your business attract 10 brand new coaching customers worth 30 grand each, it should only be one way of doing that. That's the proposal. And then if you say to someone, this is what you're going to be delivering each time, and sell that, that is the key to scale. If someone wants a bespoke option, great, charge them 100 grand for it. But you should be charging standardized You should be charging for standardized services. I love video. Happy to see you here, mate. I'm happy to see you here too, Noah. Cool. Well, in that case, guys, unless anyone has any more questions, I'm going to kind of leave it there, really. Like I said, I just wanted to push this out here and have a bit of a conversation with you guys and talk about why I'm deleting this stuff. And I think most of it's gone. I need to delete the Facebook group once people have been given a bit of time and notice. I think I've sent an email out now saying that I will be deleting it. Yeah, here it is. Deleting my socials. So yeah, we're getting there. So YouTube, I'll be getting rid of LinkedIn as well. I'm sick and tired of being recruited. What? Let's have a look on LinkedIn, right? And admittedly, I don't use it, so I can't really complain that I haven't had any growth in it because I haven't used it. Is this still my location yet? Messaging. What messages have people sent? InMail. Congrats on your work anniversary. I think I've used it since September, then July, then May. And something else about LinkedIn as well is, watch this. Let's go through this and let's see. First of all, we can see. So basically, groups do not show up in your newsfeed, which is why group community growth in LinkedIn is so difficult. If I go to my groups, I'm in 99 plus groups. Pitch anything, digital marketing, WordPress designers, got 48,000, 2 million, 24,000, 5 members, 66,000, 1,200, 14,000, 157,000. And yet if I go through my feed, watch this. Personal post, advert, personal post, personal post, advert. I don't know what that is. Personal post, personal post, personal post, advert, personal post, poll, personal post, advert. Not a single group in there. Not a single group showing up in my LinkedIn feed. And yet, if I go into Facebook, now obviously there's going to be a lot of furry. No, I'm joking. Advert, personal post, personal, personal, advert, personal. All right, this is a bad example. Personal, advert, personal. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'm talking shit. Well, I reckon we'd come across a group post faster. It's possible, however, there we go. There's a group post. Advert, personal. Now that's interesting. Oh, group. There we go. There's a group one. Now it's possible because I barely use it. Oh, there's a group post as well. And now I know anecdotally I've seen more group posts in Facebook, but LinkedIn, we could scroll for another hour and we will not find group posts in here. And that's why cultivating groups on LinkedIn is very, very difficult. Cool. All right, guys. In the meantime, I will see you later. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. If you've got any more questions, just leave them on a comment down below, and I will see you on another video. Have courage, commit, and take action. Bye, guys.